Hello, welcome to this video. I'm Anabrese, spiritual life and empowerment coach. And in today's video, we're going to talk about how to handle angry people or angry energy coming at you, because no one is an angry person as such. They're just going through a state of anger at that moment. So what to do when anger is coming at you, or even blame, you're being blamed for something that this person believes is your fault. So they're coming at you with this angry energy, and what to do, especially if you're empathic and quite sensitive and you really feel the energy of somebody. So this video will empower you and give you the tools necessary to be able to handle a situation where there's a lot of anger energy coming at you. So first of all, it's just to be aware, to be in the moment and present with what's going on. So you're aware that there's this anger energy. And I would say the first thing is to really also be aware that what's coming up is the content, the drama. Don't follow the content of the drama. And what I mean by that is, if somebody's saying, "Oh, you did this and blah blah blah," and that's the content. So we want to be actually more energetically aware of what's going on, as opposed to getting lost in the content. So you're basically detaching yourself. You're just kind of becoming aware of the energy of the anger itself. Don't get triggered by the content, because this is what the ego wants to do, is to engage you in the content, and that's how it gets its feed. So the ego gets its feed by grabbing your attention and triggering you in response to the content or drama. So especially if it's something that you're getting blamed for, because the tendency is to go on the defense. We don't want to feel like we are responsible for something. So first of all, be aware that if this is something that you are responsible for, take responsibility for it. But sometimes in the moment, when someone is really charged with that anger energy, you can't always talk to them, because whatever you say could just add more fuel to the fire, basically, because they're already activated. That anger energy is already activated and triggered in the ego, so they're fully in it. So you're not in it at this point. Okay, so what we want to do is not engage with the drama or the content itself. So I hope I'm clear about that. The drama or the content is the storyline, okay? The storyline of what's happening. So to give an example, oh, you took that last piece of chocolate cake and it was supposed to be for me, and you said you were going to leave it there and blah blah blah. That's just a very, very light-hearted example, but it could be whatever it is. I can't really think of any at the moment. So just don't get lost in the story of what is coming up. So we're going to stay with the energy for the time being, okay? So that's what I want you to do, is actually just be aware of the energy and be present in the moment with the energy. Be aware of the content or drama, and be aware if you have any triggered responses in yourself to the content or drama. And this is where we want to stay neutral and not express the triggers that we might be feeling. Okay, so we're faced with this anger energy, and what it wants to do is trigger the ego self in us. That is going to then reinforce the anger energy and just add more flames to the fire. So we don't want to do that, because then that escalates the situation, and this is what causes the arguments, the breakups, and all that stuff. So we don't want to follow the drama of the story. So stay calm. Stay calm. And one of the things you can do is actually what we're doing here is remaining still. Through your presence, what you're doing is becoming the mirror consciousness and not the ego. So by staying calm and being aware of any feelings that might come up, any triggered responses that might come up, but not acting on them. So you are still being in the state of awareness or consciousness, and you're not going to be indulging the ego. So what you can do in response to this being in front of you that's being very angry and projecting blame or anger at you is you can lovingly inquire. Make sure that when you speak, you're coming from a place of love, because they're obviously upset, okay? So they're upset and expressing it as anger because they've let the triggers well up and they're expressing it. So you can lovingly inquire, and what this does is points them inwards into a place of self-inquiry. And they may or may not hear this, okay? There's no guarantees with this system here. But what you can do is lovingly inquire and become the mirror. And what you're doing is deflecting back the anger, but not in a way that it won't upset them, or it might, but what you're doing is not becoming angry yourself. So you can lovingly inquire by saying something like, I can see you're really upset. Is there anything I can do to help? How can they get triggered by that? You know, I can see you're upset. What can I do to help? And what you're doing then is you're actually activating the logic part of them rather than the emotional, irrational ego self. Okay? So, and also it stops them in the tracks. It stops the ego in its tracks because it has to look at itself. And it doesn't like that. But because you're not acting, you're not adding more drama to the situation, you're actually turning it around, being the mirror, and asking lovingly, inquiring, what is it that's upsetting you just now? Can I help? It's just so beautiful. So that's one response that you can have. The other one could be, let's say you're at dinner and you happen to be vegan, or and people are just attacking you and saying, oh, you're this vegan and this and that, and coming out with all sorts of things. Rather than, again, engaging in the actual drama, the content, disengage from the content of what people are talking about and tune in to where they're coming from. Okay, so see if you can identify the energy of what it is they're coming from. So are they being highly critical? Are they angry? Are they defensive? So sometimes when we're living a lifestyle that's very different from other people, that can also trigger them. So what you could do in that situation is just, again, ask a simple question. Why do my choices or lifestyle bother you so much or upset you? Why do my lifestyle choices and behavior and upset you so much? It's perplexing. It's you've presented them with a paradox, because they're on a roll. The ego self is on a roll, and it's not personal. This is the thing we need to remember. And they could be doing it unconsciously as well. It's not that people go about deliberately wanting to upset people. It's just the ego self behavior acting out patterns of behavior and conditioning that could be based on all sorts of things like jealousy, defensiveness, and maybe it's something that they couldn't do, and you're doing it, and they just, that, and makes them annoyed. So what you've got to remember is that normally people that have a lot of anger to express at someone else, it's not that it's the person they're expressing the anger to. They're really angry with themselves. Okay? And one of the things that I said somewhere was just all forms of judgment are self-judgment. This world is just made up of situations and people out there that's all symbolic. It's all there to play with. And it's there to show us who we are. It's really just for you. There's no blame, there's no shame. You can't blame or get angry at something else outside of yourself. You just can't, because it's not the thing out there. Everything is fundamentally neutral. And this is something that spiritual teacher Bentinho Massaro spoke about, and Bashar, I believe. Circumstances are neutral. It's how we define them. And that's up to us. That's a choice that we have to make. Okay? It's up to us. So I hope this has given you some insight into just ways that you can handle an angry energy coming at you, whether it's blaming you or whether it's just angry for some other reason and projecting, or someone that's just angry at something that's happening in their lives. Lovingly inquire. Try and get them to look within. Try and get them to look at themselves. Try and get them to look at the source of the expression. Okay, and it's not all the triggers and the story. That's just how it's manifesting. So thank you for tuning in. I hope this has been helpful. And I would like to share with you for a moment that I am beginning a program shortly called The Unlimited Empath. And it's really for spiritual empaths, healers, light workers, eco warriors, spiritual vegans that are wanting to express more in the world, show up for the planet, for the animals, for people, for themselves, for their loved ones, and just overcoming the overwhelm that you might experience in the world, especially on an emotional level. Okay, so that's coming out shortly. I'm going to put the details below if you'd like to join the waiting list and the mailing list, I should say, for more details on that coming soon. So thank you for joining in today. I'm very grateful for you all, and see you next time. Bye.